Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Infamous, and of course, this is the Dead Air podcast. We're sitting here with pretty much most of the usual suspects. Steven, aka Scoops.
How's it going?
We're here with Ulysses.
Hey there, guys.
We have a special guest for this episode. If you've ever visited the Screwattack website or watched their videos, you would know who this person is. It is Stuttering Craig.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Let's get hyped. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Somebody has had their coffee today.
I don't drink coffee.
Red Bull,
coffee's
just
disgusting.
straight Red Bull.
I'm having skinny popcorn right now. That's where it's at.
There you go.
100 calories at a time.
You had coffee in the Fullscreen Screwattack video.
That's
Yeah, you
right.
know-
Fake coffee.
Yeah, definitely fake coffee. If anybody knows, that was probably the most fabricated thing about the video is that I don't drink coffee at all. I've actually never had a cup of coffee in my life. But
Wow.
But we
Never.
thought, yeah, I know. But we thought it'd just be funny to, because that's actually George. He actually is the CEO of Fullscreen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he actually is the real life CEO of Fullscreen. And
That makes that even funnier now.
exactly. So we figured that some people would actually like go and Google like Fullscreen CEO and see the guy who gave me coffee. And yeah, he's actually like the real life CEO. So when we were talking to him, when I was talking to him about the idea, he was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." You know. So, and the guy I took out in that video was his name is Larry. Larry's actually the head of talent at Fullscreen, and he the reason why we made him the boss was because we thought he looked like old white money.
And he did, so it worked.
Exactly. That's kind of the idea. So.
All right,
So,
so
yeah.
speaking of the whole Screwattack Fullscreen thing, now you guys are now part of Fullscreen, and for people who don't know, I guess who's been listening to this, I've been a Fullscreen partner since I think January 2013. I don't remember the date exactly, but part of the Fullscreen arcade section of Fullscreen, which is, if I'm not mistaken, is now going to be called the Screwattack Network.
Yes.
And just explain that to, I guess, some of the partners, what that means for them now that it's a Screwattack Network, how much things are going to change for them basically now.
Sure. Yeah. So, Fullscreen has this phenomenal network of, with Fullscreen Arcade. They had a network of 8,000 partners, 8,000 plus partners, and it's grown to over 12,000 now, to where, essentially when you think like a gaming network, you think of like Machinima, or you think of Polaris, or Collective, or Revision 3, and there's a lot of different options out there. And at the end of the day, a lot of people look at networks and they go, well, like they'll allow me to make more money, right? And Fullscreen has done a good job of providing like technical tools. Much more, they'll allow you to make money, but they also have these technical tools that allow you to kind of connect with other creators and cross promote and work together. They have a dashboard you can log in, and like forums you can connect with other people and find. You can actually find people in your area that have the same interests, so you can actually cross promote and work together. And even if they're not in the same area, I mean, hell, we're on Skype right now, so you can always find ways to work together there. But but the thing is, they never really had a brand to go along with their gaming side. So they had Fullscreen Arcade, which is cool, and it was just kind of it was there, right? And it was cool, and it served its purpose. But Screwattack's always been known for our community and just kind of obviously our video content and such. And when we first started talking with Fullscreen, it was one of those things where it's like, from the Screwattack side, we didn't want to do anything if it didn't allow us to kind of be ourselves, right? And from a Fullscreen side, they wanted to bring in somebody that would be themselves, and that had been there from a content producer standpoint. I mean, Screwattack we've been making videos since 2006. That's before YouTube was YouTube, right? We were using, I don't even know if you guys know this, but we were using a site called Rever to monetize our videos. Have you guys ever heard of Rever before?
I've never heard of that.
No.
Yeah, there you go. It was like blip before blip, right? You get, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, so we worked with Fullscreen to kind of come together, and what that essentially means for our partners is, we've been known for our community for such a long time. We've been known for doing things, for the gaming community as a whole for such a long time, and one thing we really want to do is provide like physical tools for all the partners of the Screwattack Network. For me, you look at kind of backing up a little bit, you look at what other networks focus on, and you have some networks who are like, they focus in on themselves, right? They'll produce multi-million, without naming names, they'll produce multi-million dollar productions, right? And they have all these partners that are like, well, that'd been really nice if you would have spent money on us, but yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess. Then you have like other networks where they have these really, 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 really popular partners. Then they have some other partners over here, but they have these really, really popular partners that they want you to go see. Then they have some other people over here. Like, what we really want to focus on with Screwattack Network is just the community as a whole. We will always put the community first in everything we do, whether you have 10 million subscribers or whether you have 1 subscriber, right? For me, everybody's on the same playing field, and we want to provide tools to allow people to get together from a physical standpoint. Like, we want to do community events and various other events that, like we're going to be doing one this weekend at PAX East, which we are literally sending an email blast out to all our partners today. Are you guys going to PAX East?
I wish.
No.
Yeah, I wish.
So one of the things we're doing at PAX East is we're going to be doing like a pub crawl, right? Screwattack pub crawl, where we're going to invite all of our partners and their fans out to kind of come out and just hang out and just kind
drinking and YouTubing.
Yeah, exactly. Drinking and YouTubing. There you go, Bing. There you go. That should be the tagline for the event. Drinking and YouTubing. Woo! I love it. But we want to do things like that. And at E3 we have some phenomenal things planned. Are you guys going to be at E3 this year?
Going to try to.
All right. Well, we want to do some things to really. Like, last year at E3, I went there and I saw Machinima's booth, and I was like, wow, that's a really nice booth. But I saw like 4 people on camera the entire time, and it was like, they're Machinima guys, right? And I was like, that's really cool for Machinima, but what about their partners? Because Machinima has all these really talented folks that will work with them, and they're there for E3, but then they see this network they work with that has this giant booth, but what does it benefit them, right? So what we really want to do is, like, at E3, we're going to do essentially provide like a place not on site, not actually at the convention center, but a couple blocks away. We're going to rent out a warehouse and have a party bus going in between the warehouse and the LA Convention Center, picking people up, taking them there, and giving them like the tools to work, like high-speed internet, a place to stream, a place to stream on Twitch and to their YouTube channel, provide food, drink, a couple massage tables, some arcade games, just like a cool lounge where they can come work and actually be productive, because E3 is a really crazy, stressful time. And I would rather invest in our partners than invest in us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't help but notice you coughed when you said massage tables. Was that delivery?
No, that was a piece of Skinny Pop getting.
Oh, it was your.
No happy endings included.
No. But I think the biggest thing is that Screwattack is such. This is going to sound really corny, but I very much believe this. Screwattack is very much a family, and I want to push that and really promote that within the network. Because sometimes, families, they fight, but they always have each other's backs, right? And that's very much how Screwattack, internally at our office is. Everybody here will have each other's back at a drop of a dime, and that's something that I really want to push. I mean, we're about as non-corporate as it gets. We're honest. We're community focused, and it's kind of cool because Screwattack, we're coming together with Fullscreen. It's kind of like they're letting the inmates run the asylum, which is kind of exciting. So, we have all sorts of perks that we're going to be doing throughout throughout the years as we move forward and start, like I said, starting this week at PAX. But, one thing we're also going to be doing for all of our partners is we do SGC. We produce an event called SGC down in Dallas every summer. Yeah. That's going to be in this email that you'll be getting later today as well. But every single Screwattack Network partner is actually going to receive free invitation, free badge to SGC. So it's pretty cool. So it allows you to kind of come together and hang out. And like I said, the biggest thing is cross promote and work with other partners to build your brand.
Will that one be kickstarted like 2013's was, or
Nope. Okay. Nothing's kickstarted, man. It's we're going full bore in it. The kickstart was that was like a one-time deal. That was if it's successful, we're gonna do it from here on out until we can't do it anymore. And And if it's not successful, then we gave it a good old college try, right?
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So, actually, this past weekend we started doing some things that that Fullscreen previously hadn't been doing, which is, or at least Fullscreen Arcade, using the Screwattack channel, which has 875,000 subscribers to it, to promote other partners' content. And we'll be doing partner spotlights on the Screwattack channel on a regular basis for sure. So there's all sorts of things that we're working on to really provide our partners kind of that next step, because we want people when they become a part of the Screwattack Network, we want them to go, holy shit, this is going to be awesome. We're going to provide our partners with basic things like bumpers, like if people want to put the Screwattack bumpers before and after their videos, just to kind of add that little extra polish to their content, they can. We're going to provide them with lower thirds, and we're talking about providing, like a lot of people do, top 10s. So we're going to provide like numbers for top 10s and things like that. Just kind of add that extra level of polish to people's content. That it's the little things for me. I think the little things go a long way. So we want to provide a lot of a little, and a little of a lot too. So
sounds good.
Yeah, it's exciting for sure.
Well, speaking of Fullscreen Arcade, like I said, I'm a Fullscreen partner for a year now, and I remember a lot of people had complaints about the actual YouTube channel of Fullscreen Arcade, because it was a channel that people would submit videos to, and not a lot of people watched them or even gave them a chance.
Sure.
So what's going to happen with the actual YouTube channel of Fullscreen Arcade? Is that going to still be around and be updated, or is it just going to be disappear basically, and Screwattack Network is going to be a channel, or is everything just going to go to the Screwattack YouTube channel that already exists?
Yeah, we're going to keep the same YouTube channel with Screwattack. With Fullscreen Arcade, I think it's going to kind of go out to pasture a little bit. It'll still be used. We're still definitely going to update it, but it won't be updated as frequently, right? Yeah. But the main channel will be definitely the Screwattack hub on both YouTube and on Screwattack.com.
All right, Steven, you had a question or a quote that you wanted Craig to elaborate on.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. You mentioned you mentioned how much Screwattack was like a family, and I agree with that, just from watching a lot of y'all's videos and seeing how you guys interact with each other, especially on the live events and stuff like that. I believe you. That seems about as genuine as you can be. And as someone who has suffered through your tweets, been following you on Twitter for quite some time, I saw there was something that occurred, and you went on kind of a little rant one afternoon, and I do enjoy your little rants. And so one of the quotes that I really took from that and stuck with me was that you once said that all of your guys on your crew had to earn their spot, and that you would be willing to stand up and back any of their work.
Sure.
This was a while back, so I don't feel bad if you don't remember the quote, but it was something that stuck with me. Yeah, it was something that stuck with me, because as someone who writes game reviews and is kind of trying to get into this type of market and stuff like that, I feel that you kind of have the right idea here. You need to prove yourself in a way. And so as someone who obviously has a bit of more of a grip and understanding on this, what kind of advice could you give to someone like me or any of the others out there listening that are kind of slowly nudging into this by, writing for free or doing their own little thing with YouTube and whatnot, but want to do more and want to get more into the business?
Sure. I think, I get emails all the time about people who have started small websites or, have a small presence on YouTube. And the thing, they reach out because they've seen kind of what Screwattack has been able to do over the last 8 years. And for me, I've never, with Screwattack, it's always been 100% I'm in from the start. From the day Screwattack launched, even before Screwattack.com launched on February 15th, 2006, Screwattack was my full-time job. And I jumped full into it. I would say, more than anything, initially, and this is really hard for people to hear, But focus on your community. Focus on growing your audience, because a lot of people go, "Oh man, how do you make this profitable?" And you got to remember that you can't have a profitable, if you have no audience, there's no one, you can't make money, right? So I would work on focusing on your audience first, focusing on the people that allow you to do what you do. That's something we've always been very keen on at Screwattack, is making sure that our community, we call our community G1s, know that they are truly the backbone of what we do. And the same goes with now our new community at the Screwattack Network with all of our partners. The feeling is genuinely there that we will not be successful if our partners are not successful. When we say cross promote, we truly mean that. We want to work together. I mean, I want to appear on your podcast. I want you to appear on our podcast. I want to doing stuff to where it grows your brand and allows Screwattack to grow, because ultimately, if you're growing, then we're growing. I think really kind of getting back to it, but I think really focusing on the community is the biggest part initially. Making sure you have an audience that that cares about what you do, and you care about them. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is you need to care about your audience as much as they care about you, probably more than they care about you. I was reading this amazing article about live streaming and what makes a successful live streamer, and they were talking about how it's more than just playing a game, because anybody can play a game. It's about making memories, right? And I think that's very true. Specifically with content in general. You need to give people a reason to laugh or cry or think or just connect with your content, with what you're producing, whether you're writing or doing video or whatever. And I think that's so beyond important. You look at a guy who's had a lot of success even before he got into video, but you look at a guy who wrote and allowed his people to connect. Like you look at Jim Sterling, right? Jim is a guy you either love or you hate. Right, he wrote for Destructoid for a long time. Now he's over.
I do both. Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly, you love or you hate him, right? But you have an opinion about him,
right?
So I think that's really important. You can't be vanilla. You can't. You have to be chocolate. You gotta have some sprinkles on what you do. You know what I mean? So
okay.
Don't be like that. Don't be like that.
No. Your metaphor is making me hungry. All right, go ahead.
It's delicious. Yeah, for sure. You gotta make sure you have a little funk in what you do, and it's got to be your own, because people, it's funny because we've had conversations. One of the reasons why Fullscreen brought us in was, because they don't really have anybody who knows games. They have people who work at Fullscreen Arcade and they're gamers, but they're not really a giant part of the community, right? And I was in LA last week, and I had some meetings with some. It's really weird. They have these brand integration people, right? And this is all like brand new territory for me, right? So the idea is that you have these brand integration people who come up with ideas and they pitch it to salespeople, and the salespeople will sell it, right? That's how they make money. So while in one of these meetings, I was sitting there and I was talking to this guy, and I was like, listen, no matter what we do, it has to be authentic, because gamers, more than anybody else, they will sniff you out as a fraud. Like they know, like gamers have this this thing about them, this nose that they know if you're fake. And he was talking about, we can do this thing, we're talking about E3, and he's like, well, maybe we can get some like promotional models to welcome people in. I was like, you mean booth babes? Fuck that. We're not doing booth babes. We're never going to do booth babes. I'd rather have like a fat guy in a tiny shirt welcoming people in, like the total opposite of a booth babe.
Well,
that's funny.
Isn't that a booth babe for someone?
Sure, sure, but it's the complete opposite of what a stereotypical booth babe is. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so, anyways, I just think that you have to be genuine. You have to focus in on your audience, and you have to have your own voice. I think that those are kind of the big three when it comes to producing and growing your content, growing your brand, and allowing you to do this for a living.
Cool. That's a great answer.
Sorry, I realize it went on a little bit longer than you probably expected, but I'm passionate about this stuff,
No, and that's what kind of makes it awesome.
All right, well, Steven brought up a tweet, and I saw you tweeting last night, so this is kind of off subject, but you were tweeting for Wrestlemania 30.
Damn right. Yeah.
Yes.
And in my opinion, a lot of bullshit happened, but that I hated. But we'll get your opinion on it. Obviously, a lot of things happened. Daniel Bryan won. Undertaker's streak was ended. And
kind of a hater. You got to be careful when he talks about this stuff.
Well, this will be good because one of the things that actually I've been kicking around for a long time is actually doing a wrestling podcast. So let's we can form this into a little wrestling podcast, and I can give it a go.
Yeah, I saw those tweets. You were talking with another. We all have a mutual friend, and Steve from Steven Larson.
Mm-hmm.
Saw that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Steve's a great dude, and Graham from Loading Ready Run. He's been talking to him as well about possibly hopping in. And
Loading Ready Run is great.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, what?
Loading Ready Run is also great.
Yes, they're amazing. But yeah, I mean, I definitely would love to do a wrestling podcast sometime. But anyways, yes, let's talk WrestleMania. I'd love to. But now, before we go any further, full disclosure, I started watching. I didn't get home last night. I was actually coming back from Florida, so I didn't get to start watching until midway through the Undertaker-Lesnar match. So I didn't catch anything prior, although I did watch some of it on YouTube this morning.
Oh, there you go.
Well, from what you saw, what did you think? Well, we'll start off with the Undertaker streak ending. What did you think about that and losing to Brock Lesnar? Did you enjoy it?
I thought it was the best thing the WWE's done in probably 15 years.
Because it got attention. People were talking about it. Is that your stance on it?
No, it's not just that. Go on Twitter right now. On Twitter right now, trending number 1 or 2 in the United States is The Undertaker, right? I mean, it's up there. It's in the top 10, right? So Undertaker is trending right now. And this event happened how long ago? And this was 15, 16 hours ago, right?
He's currently number 5. Yeah.
Okay. So he's trending right now because everybody is talking about this, right? So I realize that there's some people who are like, "Oh, you shouldn't have dropped to Brock Lesnar. There wasn't enough build-up. What's the positive of losing to Brock Lesnar?" Look, I said this on Twitter earlier today. Someone's like, "There's really no like." It kind of combined what a few people said. Someone's like, "There's really nothing good that can come of Undertaker losing to Brock Lesnar, right?" Well, someone earlier tweeted, "Well, it's obvious that Undertaker felt it was time, right?" So if Undertaker felt it was time for him to end his own streak, which let's just be honest, like in the world of wrestling, I don't think Vince McMahon or any of the booking crew in the WWE is going to be like, "Undertaker, it's time for you to lose," right? And he's going to be like, "Fuck you,
he
Vince."
has almost full control over his character. So
Exactly. So he's going to come out, do his thing. He's going to make his couple $1,000,000 for appearing at WrestleMania and do his things. And, he's going to do his character how he wants to do his character, right? So if it's his time to lose, don't you think it's his time to lose to the person he wants to lose to, right? Yes. So all these people are getting upset over him losing to Brock Lesnar. And, yes, the build-up for the match may not have been the best. But ultimately, whether you thought they should be putting over a younger guy, a younger heel, or whatever it may be, whatever the scenario, Undertaker chose who he was going to lose to. It wasn't like Vince pitched it on him. I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but like you said, he has to have full. He's been with the company for so long. I mean, I was playing Undertaker in WrestleMania, the arcade game. So he's outlasted arcades. He's outlasted the N64. He's outlasted nearly Nintendo as a whole. So I'm just saying, like, with a guy who has that much power in the wrestling world, I think it was just time.
Yeah, Undertaker picked Lesnar almost 3 years ago, and they scrapped the idea then, and it worked out now. And I agree with you. And if you're going to be mad at anyone, if you think, "Oh, Lesnar wasn't the right choice," you have to be mad at the Undertaker, and it's really hard to be mad at the Undertaker.
My thing is, it's just like, it's okay. Brock ended the streak. Is he going to stick around, or is he going to be gone like next month and we won't see him for a year or two?
Who cares?
When he comes back.
It's just who cares? What's it matter? Like, honestly, what does it matter? Like,
his contract runs.
But everybody has an issue with every year, which I did. The Rock only coming back for once a year, and everybody was upset that The Rock won at WrestleMania.
Hey,
and he's only
he
going to
came
be
back
around.
Twice that one time. He came back twice.
But people were still upset.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about that really quick. The reason I have an issue with The Rock coming back is because whenever The Rock comes back, he goes, "I'm back, and I'm here to stay," and then he's not. That's what I have an issue with, because he's like, "Finally, The Rock has come home," and then he like leaves. It's like, what? That makes zero sense.
Nobody thinks Brock is going to do the same thing.
So, well, but
like
Brock,
I said,
but Brock Lesnar's never said I'm here to stay. Like, he's very transparent. He's there
to make money. He says that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's like, look, I'm here to make money. I'm here to, play this role and do my thing. So, it's like, people can be upset at Brock Lesnar. They can be upset at Vince McMahon. But ultimately, it's not real, right? Like, what does the streak matter? It doesn't mean anything. Like, I saw people last night. They're like, I'm a longtime wrestling fan. Me too. And they're like, but I'm never watching again. It's like, really? You're upset because this story didn't play out how you wanted it to? I don't know.
Here's the thing. Lesnar is scheduled. His contract will run through WrestleMania 31, and a lot of people think that he'll probably, as long as they offer him enough money, he'll stick around after that. And my thing is, I'm against giving this honor to a part-time person, but if you were gonna choose a part-time person, he's probably someone you can negotiate with. And in the end, it was the Undertaker's call, so I'm not harping on that.
Steven, didn't you want like Triple H or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Huh? Triple H? No, who did I say last year? I said it was Shawn Michaels.
No, what was it? Last week you said you wanted Triple H.
You wouldn't have mind that if Triple H or HBK
Yeah. I said if they were going to do it, I thought the better choices would have been, Triple H or HBK. I would have loved HBK to do it. That would have been great, but.
Well, like I hear you.
I would have taken Cena. But.
Well, it would have been a logical choice for sure, but then people would be upset because he's got his 5 moves and he's not the fan. He's such a casual wrestling character or whatever. It's
Craig,
like, look,
are you a Cena supporter?
I don't care. Like with Cena, I'm so indifferent. Like, I actually, I'll tell you what. I think Cena is the best bad guy and the best good guy they have in the WWE.
He's the most polarizing entity in that whole thing.
Because you got to remember, there's people who read WrestleZone.com and PW Insider and like all these different sites that have rumors and stuff. And you know what? Those people are still going to watch. I'm still going to watch. I'm sorry. I've quit WWE 14 times in the last 2 months, and I keep going back because I'm hooked. Cena's
but are
not
you one
for
of the
me.
people that say it every time? You're like, I'm not watching it anymore. Next Raw, I'm watching.
No. They're I'll tell you what, after Royal Rumble this year, I was pissed. I was like, I was one of those guys.
Bautista, man, come on.
But I'll tell you what, last night made up for it 100%.
It did.
Because the storytelling they had last night in the final 3-way match was phenomenal. Like, if you think about that, Bryan came down, he did his thing, he took on, at one point in the match, not only was it a triple threat match where he's got these 2 mega heels against him, right, and he's the people's champ now, he's the one everyone loves. But you have Triple H and Stephanie come down. He takes out them in one fell swoop.
Takes out the fake referee. It's awesome.
Exactly. Takes out the bad referee. Then both the heels team up against him. He's already got an injured shoulder. Gets put through the announce table with both their finishing moves combined. Gets carted off on a stretcher, and then goes straight up like Ultimate Warrior, bust out of the stretcher after he has a broken neck, finishes up the match and wins. Like, how over can you possibly be? They made him look like every single thing was stacked against him, and he still came over. So that Royal Rumble thing, they made it all worthwhile.
Yeah. From SummerSlam up to this moment, I'm a patient person, and I'm glad that they finally pulled the trigger. But I kind of want to look back at all the people who were bitching the whole time and go, look, see, if you just waited.
I'll tell you what. WWE and Vince McMahon and their creative writing team, their creative staff, they know what's going to happen, right? And for the most part, as many internet wrestling fans as they think, as smart as they think they are, they're not as smart as these guys. They know how to do this. They've been doing it for so long. Like, me personally, what I thought would have been great, and people were talking about Austin versus Punk, how that would be a great matchup at WrestleMania 31. What I thought would be amazing. And as I was watching the match, I realized that there was no way this was going to happen. But I thought would be cool is if Punk came down to actually cost Daniel Bryan the match last night, and maybe he gave him his finish or whatever, and then Stone Cold comes down and he takes out Punk, gives him like a stunner or something. That sets up their feud for the next year or whatever it is leading up to the match. But Punk ultimately goes heel. But obviously, watching the match last night, Punk has too much respect for Daniel Bryan to kind of take away his one shining moment. You know?
I think you're right. Yeah.
So I don't think that would have happened, but I think that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah. And you have way more faith in the booking for WWE than I do, but I do agree with you.
Yeah.
I love those 5-second CM Punk chants, and then eventually everybody gets tired of doing it and just says, fuck it.
I'm so sick and tired of hearing those goddamn chants.
Yeah.
Man.
Look, CM Punk's great, but he chose to walk out no matter what the circumstance, and it's disrespectful if you're sitting there chanting CM Punk when a great match is going on.
You know? I don't know if it's necessarily just. I don't really buy the whole disrespectful thing, and no offense to you, but I just think that it's one of those things where, people obviously. I do feel that people pay their money and they can chant what they want.
Sure.
But I do feel that people do want to be a part of the show. You know, they very much want to be a part of the show. You look at like this sign guy and stuff in WWE, and people want to be seen. They go to those shows because they feel like they're a part of it. And I do think that. Like I said, WWE's smart. They did the whole hijack Raw thing. They embraced it. Like when Paul Heyman cut that promo in Chicago,
it was beautiful.
Like I have this story I always tell about just so back in 2002, I was an MC. I worked with Coca-Cola, right? And I MC'd the Olympics in 2002 up in Salt Lake City, and then I MC'd like Spring Break down in South Padre Island, right? So I was on stage, and this will come back to what I was talking about here in a second, but I was on stage in front of like 12,000 people doing like a hula hoop contest or something really stupid down at Spring Break, right? And there's all these people looking at me, and I'm wearing flip-flops, and I fall and I bust my ass on stage, right? I have a microphone in my hand, and everybody out there in the crowd just laughing their ass off at me, right? And I could have done one or two things. I could either stand up and kept going and just ignored that I fell and busted my ass, or I can get up and acknowledge that it happened and kind of go from there, right? So I stood up, acknowledged that I busted my ass, and everybody laughed. I did this like, hey, okay, everybody laugh at me, 1, 2, 3, ha ha ha, you suck type of thing, and everybody moved on and everybody forgot about it, as opposed to it just lingering over the entire audience in my head the entire time, right? So bring that back to Raw a couple weeks ago, right, where Paul Heyman comes out and is like, look, I get it. You're here. You want CM Punk here. He's not here. And they just acknowledge it right off the bat, as opposed to this just being – because if they didn't acknowledge it right off the bat, there's no way that show would have gone off as well as it did.
Sure.
Right? But they acknowledged it off the bat, and it just kind of left it be. And, yeah, there's people who are going to be chanting CM Punk's name throughout the show, of course. But if they didn't acknowledge it, those CM Punk chants would have continued for the next week and the next week and the next week, and they would have continued but the WWE was smart, and they chose to acknowledge it. So
I think you're right.
All right, Craig, I know you said you didn't see the beginning of WrestleMania, but Steven, was there anything else that you want to talk about from last night? Any other matches? Or
Whoa, Steven was there?
No.
Oh.
I wish.
I was like, what?
I am one of those people you were talking about that reads, or AKA kind of works for / they don't pay me enough, one of the dirt sheets. So I pay attention to this stuff to write about it.
Way to diss them, to talk shit about them.
They don't pay me enough. I got paid.
They say they pay you just fine, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we can talk about that later. No, but I love the show. If you miss a lot of wrestling fans, the biggest moment was the Hulk, Austin, and Rock moment. I may have laughed a little too much when Hulk Hogan couldn't figure out where he was. That was hilarious. The Daniel Bryan Triple H match that started off is probably one of the better openers for WrestleMania in a very long time. It was a great opening match, had a really good feel to it. Stephanie and Paul Heyman really deserve credit for both being ringside personalities during their respective matches, for just having some of the best facial expressions and encouraging on their wrestlers and everything. The Kane and New Age Outlaws match against the Shield made no sense. It didn't really do much to help the Shield. I think they just needed their WrestleMania moment, and they were probably running short on time like we discussed, so they were like, okay, well, let's cut this match a little bit short. They triple power bombed, the New Age Outlaws, which caused Billy Gunn to cough up blood afterwards. So I guess it worked. Hurrah. Let's see. The Bray Wyatt and John Cena match was really good. It was good storytelling. It was better storytelling than it was an actual match, but Bray Wyatt's entrance was what that was all about. that the band being dressed up like they were with the masks and the face paint and the chick with the machetes. I was a little scared. I like covered my crotch when she came by. But no, that entrance was great. Bray Wyatt is probably, I know it's all based off Cape Fear, which is a good movie. If you've never seen it, you should. But it's a great character, and I really, really enjoyed everything in that first like hour and a half to 2 hours. I thought they did an amazing job with it. And like I said, I think a lot of people are unfortunately going to look as this Undertaker losing the streak as a black mark on an otherwise really good pay-per-view.
I don't know. I personally, like I said, I hear you. I think a lot of people will look at it and they'll go, oh, the Undertaker lost. But like,
I hope not. I hope that doesn't happen.
My only thing is that if you really think about it, right, and you really think about, WrestleMania last night was supposed to be like Daniel Bryan's big hurrah, right? And that was the he wins, he beats the Authority, he's the winner now, right?
Right.
And that was his big jumping off point. Now he's the champ for real, and he's not going to drop his title the next night. At least we don't think.
Hopefully.
Right? Yeah.
Now the real struggle begins.
Well, exactly. And I think there's a thing. So I'll circle back to that in a second. But I think that if you really think about it, I think that the management in WWE having Undertaker lose actually kind of is a slap to the face of Daniel Bryan, because as opposed to Daniel Bryan trending, Undertaker's trending, right? Yeah. What are you still talking about? You're talking about the old veteran who's big, who's 6'10", who's been around for a long time, and like you're talking about him. You're not talking about the champ, right? Yeah. So, if you really think about it, and if you want to go really cynical on it, which I know the internet does, then I think there's an opportunity there to kind of say, okay, hey, management got the last laugh, even though the fans got what they want. Management still knows that people are talking about their guy as opposed to, the people's guy. Yeah. But you're right. The true struggle starts now, because I think everybody likes Daniel Bryan, the character, in like the underdog role. And now that he's the champ, like, it's like you work your ass off, right? And you get to that point and you achieve your lifelong goal, and then you go, well, now what?
Yeah. Looking from here out is going to be really hard for them, and they are going to, the payoff came and it was good, and I think they've got a lot of fans back with them, even though they probably lost some in exchange for the Undertaker thing. But I really think we're going to see how well of a job they can do in the next couple of weeks keeping him as champion.
No, I hear you, and I think that personally, as far as them losing fans based off the Undertaker thing, if they've been watching the Undertaker for as long as look, the Undertaker wrestles once a year,
yeah,
right? And if these people have been watching wrestling for that long, and they're going to be out because of a fictional story indicated that that a fake streak was stopped, I was watching online, someone was like, this streak was better than Cal Ripken's streak in baseball. And it's
That's just ridiculous.
I was like, I wanted to be like,
fucking ridiculous.
I'm like, little kid, you're an idiot,
And you're right, because most of these people, when they tell me, like after Royal Rumble and after the Chicago Raw, and people's like, I'm never watching this again. And my experience is 9 out of 10 of those people next week watching fucking Raw. And I'm like, I thought you said you quit. Stop bitching and quit, or stop telling me you're gonna quit.
Did anybody actually enjoy the match? Not just talking about the streak, like the actual match. Did you think it was a good match?
The weakest match of the
night.
Yeah,
it was weak.
I think
don't count the squash match.
I think people probably would have. They still would have been bitching, but I think people probably would have been slightly. I think I probably would have liked it more if it was an actually good match. Because when it ended, I was just like, that's it.
Did you notice that Divas match had more high spots than the Undertaker-Lesnar match?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not knocking it. I'm not trying to be insulting here, but seriously, the Divas at a couple of points, I was like, holy shit, both Bellas just dived between the ropes and took out half the thing. I don't know. I was shocked that it seemed like the person who usually each year, the Undertaker's 2 matches with Shawn Michaels and even the 2 with Triple H and the 1 with CM Punk, usually those were like, oh man, that was one of the better matches of the night. But in my opinion, it was the weakest match on the card.
Yeah, I feel that it was definitely the weakest match for sure. But this is just me. I was like looking at some kid tweeted about his picture of, like the Undertaker. This is like, this is going off one picture, right? But this is just this mood I get with like the Undertaker. I just feel like last night was such a money grab, and like I don't know the guy, and he could come in and he can be like, you're a fucking idiot, Craig. But I don't know the guy, but just looking at his facial expressions, looking at just kind of how that match was worked last night, I think he wanted to do one last match, and that was it. Yeah. I don't think you're going to see, like, when you see the announce table giving a wrestler a standing O, like read between the lines. You know what I mean?
Right. And he looked tired. You're right. He looked tired. And I mean, they had to take him to a hospital after the thing because he had a mild concussion and a neck injury. So.
Yeah, and like, oh look, let me retract that really quick. I hate to use the term like money grab. I hate it because maybe he just wanted like, because I don't think I feel like the guy has more money than he possibly could deal with, right? But I just feel like last night was, I don't know, just from a viewing standpoint, it was kind of half-assed, like just the effort in the match, like. You didn't see any crazy spots. You saw what you expected. You saw a tombstone, you saw a last ride, things like that. But you didn't really see anything that really, made you go, holy crap, like in the last, 2 or 3 matches that he'd been in. He's getting old. That's just the end of, he's 49, going on 50. Like if I'm 49 and running around in a ring. For the love of God, man! Like when I'm 49, geez, like I hope I'm able to run up and down a basketball court. So I don't know. I mean, cool for him for coming back, but I don't know. It just didn't really do a whole lot for me.
All right, well,
was anyone else really disturbed to see the Undertaker that tan? Like that was really disturbing to watch.
It looked odd.
That thing was like really disturbing to watch during the whole match.
Yeah, he's this pale, ghostly figure that's like. Tan, like been out in the Caribbean for the last 3 months, getting a tan, laying down,
or spray tan, whichever you think is more likely.
Yeah.
All right. Before we wrap up, Ulysses, you actually had you wanted a prediction from Craig, right?
Yeah, fire away.
Yeah,
what do you got?
Because I don't know how many listeners know this, but we are not only talking to one of the creators of Screwattack, but we also are talking to the former gunner of the band.
Slam ball veteran.
Yeah. You know it. Love it. So prediction, what's my prediction? What do I have to predict?
Is he okay? Ulysses is now gone. He just left after that. That's all he wanted.
I think he wanted your NBA final for something like that.
He wanted your prediction for who's going to win the NBA finals.
Got it. Okay, cool. Well, let me give you the rundown. I think that as much as it pains me, I think that the Spurs will win it this year. I think the Mavericks will squeak into the seventh or eighth seed, which they're my hometown team, so I got to show them a little bit of love and a little bit of faith. But yeah, I think it's going to be Spurs in Miami in the finals, like we saw last year, and I think that the Spurs are driven. They're ready to go.
You don't like the Spurs?
No, I can't stand the Spurs. Listen, I get it. Listen, the Spurs
Would you say that they're a thorn in your side? The Spurs. Anyway.
All right. So.
No, just the Spurs in general. I get it. They're a great team and stuff, and they're really really phenomenal. But just being from Dallas and having rivalries with the Spurs over the last 15 years, that it's definitely something that I'm not a huge fan of. Tim Duncan and his crybaby antics.
All right, well, I'm a Chicago Bulls fan, so I don't care about either of those teams.
Man, I'll tell you what, man. I was, obviously, I was a Bulls fan in the mid '90s, right, with MJ, and man, Tom Thibodeau, that is one dude. That dude can coach.
Yeah.
And as soon as you guys get your star player back, that'll be good.
If we ever do, I hope so.
Can I ask one last thing? I'm just curious about the video game section for Screwattack. You guys did the AVGN video game adventures, which I don't know if you remember this, and you probably don't, and I wouldn't expect you to, but I tweeted you about 97 times saying how frustrated I was getting at the game, but how I loved every second of it. I actually did some YouTube videos of me playing the game and just dying and cussing and cursing and then dying so I could curse more at how much I was dying. But I want to know if you have any future projects coming up.
Yes, actually we do. We're going to be releasing between 3 and 4 games this year with Screwattack games. So that's one of the big things we definitely want to. Nothing to announce yet, but I would say towards the middle of the year and third and fourth quarters of the year, you'll see a lot of games coming out from Screwattack games.
And you guys did AVGN as one of your Challenge Mondays, and I loved Challenge Mondays or Fridays or whatever day of the week y'all ended up putting them on. But I was just curious, which one was your favorite, since the Mario Challenge and you almost so close to finishing that one was one of my favorites. I was wondering what your favorite one was.
Are you talking about all 3 Marios in an hour?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ever actually do it? You got so close. You could have done it.
I know. I think I missed it. Mario 2 is the one that always trips me up.
Right.
It's the least played one. I think I could do that for sure. Challenge Monday. The thing about Challenge Monday is it's really great, but it's hard to do on a regular basis because people will like, "We'll go beat Battletoads," and it's like I've never beat Battletoads, so how can I beat Battletoads now? You know. So
one does not simply just beat Battletoads.
Okay. So there's all these like ridiculous people just throw out these ridiculous suggestions, right? And we want people to throw out suggestions, but really the challenges need to come from like our own personal experiences. The most recent one we did was actually we brought it back maybe a month, 6 weeks ago, something like that, where we did beat TMNT2, the arcade game, without
I saw that one.
And we beat that without using a single continue, which was like, I thought that was actually a very big accomplishment. Like after I got done, I was like, whoa, that was pretty awesome.
You guys own that one, and then you inspired me. One of either you or the guy you were playing with inspired me to go play the Manhattan Project because I'd never actually beaten that.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one. For sure.
All right, so I don't know if Ulysses is back, but all right, we'll wrap this up. Oh, okay.
There he is.
Did you hear his prediction?
No, I'm sorry.
Gotta go back and listen to it, sucker!
Yeah.
Go listen to the podcast.
All right, so once again, thank Stuttering Craig for coming on. We truly appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, man.
No, for sure. You guys, thank you very much.
Yeah, I missed side scrolling.
Oh, what now?
He misses side scrollers.
Oh, you missed side scrollers? Well, it's good because we're going to be bringing it back soon.
I said that. Yeah.
We're going to be bringing it back very soon. For sure. So we're looking at possibly late April by the time when we bring side scrollers back. So, and when we do, it'll be live. So
nice.
But yeah, man, thank you guys very much for having me on. Thanks for your support. Thank you for welcoming us into your network, Fullscreen Arcade, and allowing us to take over and run this crazy place. And let's all work together to grow everybody and just have a big ass family, man. So like I said, if you guys do go out to any events, PAX, E3, PAX Prime, MagFest, wherever you're at, and we're around, come say hi. We'd love to shake your hand and give each other high fives.
Sweet. Cool. Sounds awesome.
All right, guys. So that was the Day There podcast. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys liked it. I was Infamous with Stephen Wiles, a.k.a. Scoops.
That's me.
Oh, okay. Ulysses.
Peace out, guys.
Hey, stop what you're doing right now. Subscribe to these dudes. Subscribe right now. Stop what you're doing. Subscribe. Listen to it every week. They're amazing. They talk wrestling and video games. At least that's what I got out of that today.
That's the tagline now. We talk wrestling and
video games. It's got to be wrestling.
And video
games. And games has to be spelled all weird, like GAYMESZ or something like that.
Keeping it classy up in here.
That's what we do.
All right, guys. Wrestling and video games. We appreciate you guys for listening. We are out. Bye.
Bye!